so hopefully we're good with that. And Sister Hutchinson, we did not coordinate these orders or anything like that because she just barely got newly called, and so she didn't know that I was doing this lesson. Hooray for you. We are going to be talking about emergency preparedness, and I'm going to be referencing a talk from 1973 from President Benson called Prepare Ye. Sister Greenwood, can you turn off the lights for me? I just want you to think about the fact that this is what a church would be like if we had an emergency where we had no power. This is what we'd be doing. Would you still be here? Yeah, we would probably be cold. Okay. Does anyone have their scriptures that would mind reading a scripture for me? I'm looking for D&C 38:30. Doctrine and Covenants 38. No, you can leave it off. Thanks, Sister Greenwood. D&C 38:30. If you got it, just start reading it.
Verse 30?
Yes, ma'am.
It says, maybe it says, I tell you these things because of your prayers. Wherefore treasure wisdom in your bosom, lest the wickedness of men reveal these things unto you by their wickedness. For the man that shall speak in your ears with a voice louder than that which shall shake the earth. But if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear.
Okay, we have heard that. Has anyone not ever heard that? Sister Greenie, you can hit the lights now. We have heard over and over that if we're prepared, we shall not fear. So I'm going to strike a little bit of fear in your hearts for a minute. I have a little quiz that I want you to take. Will you help me pass these out, or someone? Anybody? We're going to take 5 minutes, and I want you to be as completely honest as you can be on this quiz. Does anyone need a writing implement? Sorry. You do? Okay.
Who needs something to write with?
Okay, does anyone not have a quiz yet?
Yeah, just right here. Oh, I want one.
Does anyone else? Do we need more?
They're coming this way.
Oh, you're getting some. Sister Hammond, I think there's some coming right there. Sister Hammond needs a pencil. Okay. You got like 4 more minutes, so it's just yes or no. So just take yes or no. Anybody else? There's no right or wrong answers. I won't be judging you. This is merely like Leona will, so. Yeah, you guys have to take it too.
This is really
I'm 11. It should be
Oh, yes. Number 11 should be, do you have a plan for toilet facilities if there is an extended water shortage, not storage? I mean, I guess you could probably have a problem if there were a flood, too. Two more minutes.
That'll work. I'm terrible about keeping gas hunting. Like the worst because my kids is piggybacks, right? Yeah, probably is. I'll have to. We should have some. Nor does grandma have that available. But I'm down there instead of no, I have that's That's right. Right. That would be really bad.
It's like Jeopardy, right?
As in you, does that mean you and or your husband?
You personally.
Oh, so that's
I'm gonna say you personally, not
I don't know how to
husband.
the gas.
So like the shutting off the gas.
Shuts out the
Yep,
gas.
you personally.
So no, I
You're like 15 seconds.
don't. Yes.
Okay, time's up. We're not going to discuss these. I want you, let's see, Cindy Christensen, will you read just that little sentence at the very bottom?
If you answered no to any of the above questions, it is time to take action.
Oh man, I've got some no's. Anyone else?
Something number 19. We don't want something over our bed, that should be.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have something.
Okay. At the April 1937 General Conference, President J. Reuben Clark of the First Presidency asked, "What may we as people and as individuals do for ourselves to prepare to meet this oncoming disaster, which God in His wisdom may not turn aside from us?" He set forth these inspired basic principles. He said, first, and above and beyond everything else, let us live righteously. So if we're not living righteously, we're probably not going to be prepared any other way. Let us avoid debt as we would avoid a plague. Where we are now in debt, let us get out of debt. If not today, then tomorrow. Let us straightly and strictly live within our incomes and save a little. Let every head of every household see to it that he has on hand enough food and clothing, and where possible, fuel also for at least a year ahead. You of small means, put your money in foodstuffs and wearing apparel, not in stocks and bonds. You of large means will think you know how to care for yourselves, but I may venture to suggest that you do not speculate. Let every head of every household aim to own his own home, free from mortgage. Let every man who has a garden spot garden it. Every man who owns a farm, farm it. So typically when I hear these lessons, sometimes I shut off and think, oh yeah, like when is a disaster? Yep. Okay, so this last week we've had a couple of disasters happen in our world. We are not immune to that in the United States, right? Just because we've never had an earthquake here in my lifetime doesn't mean it will never happen. Like, the other more relevant thing that I think about or that scares me there are a lot of things that scare me, and I tend to read some books that I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't read this. It just terrifies me. Like books about Yellowstone exploding and what happens after that, or which is possible. But the one that is probably more possible is an electromagnetic pulse, which is an EMP, which takes out all electricity, all cellular stuff, can ruin your microwaves. Like there's a book that was presented before Congress about the after effects of such a disaster. And there are countries that are working to employ this kind of weapon against the United States. So this is not something that is it's not something that is not possible. And I want you to think about that. I know sometimes we get in the mindset of, oh, you know, it's one more thing for us to do is to prep for an emergency. That's one more thing that the prophets have asked of us. I want you to shift your mindset from that's one more thing to this is how I live the gospel. It's not just one more thing. It's I live the gospel, and this is all-encompassing. Because I live the gospel, I'm going to listen to the prophets and prepare for an emergency. Because I live the gospel, I'm going to read my scriptures and say my prayers. Instead of, just one more thing. I think sometimes we get bogged down by that. So let's shift that mindset and think, because I live the gospel, I'm going to do this. Okay? And then the other thing that I think about is sometimes the reality of these things don't necessarily, like they don't seem real to us. But I want you to think, just take a minute, and I want you to imagine an emergency. I want you to imagine an emergency where you are not able to just run to the local Walmart and get some food. You are not able to turn on the lights in your home. I think it was last year, we, like in the blocks of 250 West and 200 West, and then up in the cul-de-sac, like the Barrett's cul-de-sac, maybe we didn't have water for like 3 days. And I was like, it was a really big wake-up call, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we're brushing our teeth with our liter bottles we have stored downstairs, and we're flushing our toilets with the liter bottles. Like, my parents came to babysit, and I'm like, sorry, we don't have any water, so if you guys need to wash your hands or something, there's a 2-liter bottle by the sink that you can use. So it happens. It may not happen for like a month. It may not be a year-long thing, but we have been counseled to have a year-long supply, and we have been counseled to prepare. So President Harold B. Lee has wisely counseled, perhaps if we think not in terms of a year's supply, which usually makes me go, start hyperventilating and start thinking, I don't have money to do that. I don't have time to put that together. He says a year's supply of what we ordinarily would use, and think more in terms of what it would take to keep us alive in case we didn't have anything else to eat that would last, that last would be very easy to put in storage for a year. So this is not like, okay, I can't store my lettuce for a year. I can't store my delicious chips for a year. So I don't know. Like, if there's something that you're holding on to, just enough to keep us alive if we don't have anything else to eat. We wouldn't get fat on it, but we would live. And if you think in terms of what kind of annual storage rather than a whole year supply of everything that you are accustomed to eat, which in most cases is utterly impossible for the average family, I think we will come nearer to what President Clark advised us way back in 1937. So if this is seeming like overwhelming, if you've ever had that feeling of, oh, I don't think I can do this, or that's good for my neighbor, but for me, nah. Or if you're of the mind that, well, if there's an emergency, I'm sure everyone will just bring their stuff to the church and we'll all just have a grand old time and woo! I don't have to plan. I don't have to prepare. Let me tell you, let's see, who was this? Someone important. I was probably just President Benson that said this. The strength of the church welfare program lies in every family following the inspired direction of the church leaders to be self-sustaining through adequate preparation. God intends for his saints to so prepare themselves that the church, as the Lord has said, may stand independent above all other creatures beneath the celestial world, which does not mean that we will rely on the church. That means that we get to be independent and have ourselves prepared. So, starting this week, starting today, with my challenge for this lesson, which will be coming in just a minute, I'm going to give you a 10-minute preparation project. So each week until we'll go until the end of the year and see how it goes. But I'm gonna I will tell you in here. I'll add it to our announcements because we just don't have enough. I will add it to our announcements. We'll probably write it up here instead of just announcing it. But I will also add it to our email and our Facebook page. Our 10-minute preparation project for the week. This week's is if you have an electric can opener, your challenge is to get a hand can opener. That's it. If you've already done it, pat yourself. Done, pat yourself. Carla is done. I'm done. Here's my challenge though, is you need to know where it is. And maybe if you already have one and it's in your drawer, grab another one. You can get them for like 99 cents, especially at the dollar store. You can grab a hand crank.
They don't work, so make sure they work.
You got to get a good one.
But you know what? Most emergency preparedness people will say,
Doesn't matter.
get a good can opener.
Right.
Because
That's what you're going to be. Yeah. So get a good can opener, but if you've got it in your drawer and you use it on a daily basis, maybe you grab another one and stick it with all your emergency stuff so that it's a grab and go thing. Okay? That's your addendum to if you've already got one. So each week I will give you a new project, and they are simple like that. It's just, it will take you 10 minutes or less to do this project. So that's part of your challenge.
Sarah, can I say something really quick?
Please, yes.
I always thought food storage was weird and stupid and just a big use of space and money that I didn't have. And then my husband lost his job.
Yes.
And we used that food storage. And that was the stopgap that kept our family not feeling deprived and not feeling terrible because my husband didn't have a job. We were able to live a relatively normal lifestyle that we had done before because I had salsa and ketchup and food in the food storage. I mean, I had the things that we eat on a normal basis. Now, we didn't get to the point where I was putting salsa on boiled wheat. Yeah.
Right.
But we could have.
Right.
But my food storage saved us on multiple times when my husband has had employment changes. So it's not necessarily an EMP that means you're going to use your food storage.
Right.
It could be a really simple thing.
But
But you need to be prepared for the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need to, and you personally, because heaven forbid something happened to your husband or your family, you need to personally know the skills. I mean, that was something that I was like, if something happened to Stuart, I would just be like, he can walk outside and say what trees are, what fruits, and we can eat that and all sorts of stuff, or I can build this or that, and I'm like, I would just crumble. So I have taken upon myself to kind of figure stuff out, to how to take care of things that I may not normally. Nicole and then Christiane.
In my old ward, we had a lesson like this, and one of the ladies, it was an activity, and she showed us how to Dutch oven. Full on, we did everything there and stuff, but she had advised, as far as your food storage, obviously you don't want to go buy a bunch of beans if you don't like beans and you're not going to eat them. It doesn't make sense. So store what you need and just replenish if you happen to use it. And I'm sorry, it's sad to say that my family would probably end up at my house because none of them have food storage and I have it.
Right.
So
But also, if you're really, really hungry, beans are going to look pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah, Christiane.
another thing to remember is I feel like we always think emergency preparedness and think of food. And in this checklist, very few of the items are actually food related.
Thank you. Yeah.
But in most catastrophes, the things that people die or severely, it's actually injuries.
Right.
That's actually the thing that kills people the very fastest. in an emergency or a natural disaster. And so I don't know, it's smart to, you know, when you get your prescriptions, fill them, and I don't know, like if I already have something on hand that's left over, like an eye drop or whatever, I'll still fill it and I'll keep that. Or just, my kids always have ear infections, so every time they have an ear infection, I take them in and we get a prescription for it, and I have a few of those bottles on hand.
Right.
Or, you know, the Band-Aids and the different things, like we have first aid kits everywhere, because first of all, my kids hurt themselves all the time, but that is actually the thing that, and you know what, I may not have skills in some area, but we do have like a basic stitching set, because if something did happen, I'm sure we could find someone that has that skill set.
Absolutely. And it's great to have those. Yeah.
Well, even further along that line, when Hurricane Sandy hit New York City, it crippled New York, and I was texting back and forth with friends in Lower Manhattan, you know, and I was like, holy cow! And so I started reevaluating, you know, if I was in that situation and was unable, you know, to function, I looked at my medication. And some of us are on medication that you can't store a 30-day advance because legally you can't.
Right.
So what are you gonna do?
Right.
Well,
yeah,
that is, and I'm not here to do a compare class, and I'm not going to need to go there, but you've got to look at other, because I looked at it and said, I am a basket case.
Right.
Under normal circumstances, if I'm under an evacuation order and strain, I'm going to be a freaking nightmare. So, and if I can't get my meds,
or imagine, like, you don't have your husband or your children,
I'm going to be in the fetal position in the corner. What good am I going to be for my family? So I had to have a plan B. And whatever that plan B looks like for you, whether it's oil, whether it's massage, medication, whatever.
Right.
Get a plan.
Herbs and Cures. I also have a handout for that. I didn't make enough copies today, but I've got I have 72-hour checklists here that I'd like. If you don't have a 72-hour checklist and are looking to start one, and sisters, I'm not asking you to suddenly have a full basement of preparation, but what I'm asking you to do is baby steps. I love that movie, What About Bob? And he's always talking about baby steps. Baby steps! So I just want you to take baby steps. Start somewhere. And once you get started, you'll receive more confidence to keep going and learning more and building more.
And if you're lost with where to start, there are so many bloggers or different people that have dedicated their lives to like breaking down simple, like, okay, this is exactly like week by week, in this many weeks, get your 72-hour kit together, a rather robust one.
Right.
And, you know, okay, this is the next thing you need to do for emergency preparedness. We know you're going to give us challenges, but if you really are like, I don't really know how to, it's kind of overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. And sometimes the best place to start is just by, if you are overwhelmed by the food side of it, if you're like, I don't know what to do with that, start with getting flashlights. I got all keyed up because I went to the Walmart and I bought a big Vaseline pack and I bought some cotton balls so that I could have my own homemade fire starters. You guys, I am very passionate about this, and I'm a little bit of a weirdo. Like, I'm one of those people that are like, I want to learn how to like make my own shoes or something, because I just think that it's important for us to have those kinds of skills. Duct tape, maybe. I don't know. Like, I think it's important because I don't think that this is out of the realm of possibility for us, sisters. I don't think this is out of the realm of possibility for us. I don't think that if you're feeling like, I don't even want to go there, I don't want to think about that, I get that. But I'm going to say, for the sake of your family, go there. Because you will be blessed with opportunities, and you will not just opportunities to help your family, but you will also have the opportunity to be blessed because you are following the counsel of prophets of God who have counseled us to do this. Yeah, Sister Kelly.
Just kind of put it in perspective, my mom is the Relief Center president back home in Florida, and we live on the West Coast. And on the East Coast, they have nothing.
Right.
They have no power, they have nothing, which means the gas pumps don't work. You can't put your card in because it's electronic. So yesterday they went, they got a whole crew to go over there, and their whole objective was to only help the community. Tomorrow, we're going over to help only the members of the church. So they're doing it in 2 phases. However, to get over there is a 3-hour drive from my house, and a 3-hour drive back. There's no gas.
Have to
So
pack
they
the
have
gas.
to haul over their own gas, there and back. They have to haul over their own gas for their tools, all the equipment that they're taking, food for them, provisions for themselves while they're there. So when you put it in that kind of perspective, it may not be that we have to pick up and leave. It may be that we're called to pick up and go help. And
Absolutely.
if you don't have the resources and the tools, you're missing an opportunity of, for one, not being prepared, and for two, the blessings that come with being at work.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that to light. Sisters, I will just bear my testimony that I know that this message is a message from God. I get excited about it because I love to feel closer to God by doing things that also help my family and help myself and help me become a better person. I'm a little obsessed with personal development. So this is one of those things that I get really passionate about. The second challenge besides that 10-minute project that I gave you is just to do something. Do something small. I don't care if you picked up a flashlight at the dollar store. I want you to come back prepared next week to share something you did to prepare for an emergency. If you got a bag of Band-Aids from the IKEA or something, do it, okay? I appreciate your listening to me, and I appreciate your attendance. It's really great to see you all. And I say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Yes, if you want a 72-hour kit list, just come on up and get it after. And I've neglected to say that the American Fork 23rd Ward is doing...
Carmen just had a good suggestion about seeing if there's a way to get all this work preparedness stuff in with Wednesday.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, so this is all just, this is the jump-off start of our dialogue about emergency preparedness.
Are the brethren getting the same lesson?
Yes, absolutely. They actually got this lesson a couple weeks ago. Like, they got it back in September. So if you haven't heard from your husbands, start the dialogue with them. But Bishop Meekum is very interested, as you could see from, if you took his survey, he's very interested in seeing where we are as a ward as far as preparedness. And I don't think our numbers were too great as to how that was, as to how we are prepared as a ward individually, families, things like that, as far as emergencies.
This is all kind of taken on the whole Florida hurricane thing. I'm on this missionary moms page, and there are moms freaking out about their missionaries out there, and I'm like, oh yeah, who takes care of my kid in Washington if something's happening up there? And
The Lord.
all of the Lord, yeah, all of those members there were taking in the missionaries and accounting for the missionaries and incorporating them into their emergency preparedness. So that's something that we need to think about as well.
Right, absolutely. What things will we be asked to do is something else we need to think about. Just really quickly, I think we'll close with just a prayer. Thank you. But the American Fork 23rd Ward is doing a church food service, a church food order, which means things that are provided by the church. And I was supposed to put these in the binder, but I just forgot. So things that are on the church food order are things like apple slices, beans, carrots, cocoa mix, flour, macaroni. If you are interested, I will go pick it up for you if you want to purchase it, but I'm going on Thursday with the 23rd Ward to pick it up. So if you're interested, come talk to me. If this is like, oh, I'll go check and see what there is, come talk to me.
Also, from like here on, didn't get this order.
The nuts order.
Yeah. Like,
Okay. If you want you're going, when are you going, Charlotte? When are you putting in the order?
Next Wednesday, they're due by next Wednesday.
So can we pass it around again next week? Okay.
You get your own copy.
Come get your own copy, or
So
we'll
just
pass
come
it around
see
next
me
week.
after if you want.
Okay. Who has our closing prayer? Sister Manuela. You have our closing prayer. Sisters, we're going to close with a prayer from Sister Manuela. Thank you.